Hey guys, Dakara here and welcome back to my channel. So, you've just watched the bloopers, I hope, my bloopers reaction season 13, and now you want to see what my thoughts are for the season overall. And this is probably one of the biggest ones for me, to be honest. So please stay tuned and I hope you enjoy what's to come. So, season 13, possibly one of my favourite seasons to date. So I've seen a multitude of seasons and this one just stands out mainly because of our very lovable boy Jack. I just find him so precious and I love the fact that in my head I thought we were going to get some evil character that's going to disrupt all of the boys' lives, rain havoc amongst Earth. But we didn't get that. We did not get that at all. Instead, we got the very loving, caring, soulful, beautiful little cinnamon roll mini version of Castiel. And I was shook by it and I loved it and I embraced it and I just want more. He seemed to have freshened the show up. He really did. There was something, this season felt different. And I do think a lot of that has to do with him being introduced to the show. Don't get me wrong, the show is amazing and I would have loved season 13 no matter what because it's supernatural and I'm very committed. But I do appreciate when I spot a good decision and I do think Jack was a very good decision for the show. I have read your comments and I'm aware that some people feel like they were trying to replace Castiel in some way. Personally, I didn't get that vibe. I thought if anything, he was an addition to Castiel because every time I see Jack, I see Castiel. Not only does Jack and Castiel look very similar, but their personalities are very similar as well. And Castiel is doing nothing but trying to live by his word to Kelly Klein to say that he would protect Jack at all costs. And he is a man of his word. So I'm hoping that that will continue on for season 14 as well. But I also like to see Castiel have another role. And Jack brought that out in him, so I do love that. And Jack as well, just being so wholesome and precious, just makes it so easy to love him. And yes, I do know that when he turns them glowy eyes on, he's a very scary boy. But at the same time, even when he turns it on to be scary, it's coming from a place of protection and strength, and he's always trying to do the right thing, which I love. While I'm on this topic, I just want to talk about Daddy Sam. Because Daddy Sam is one of my favourites, and at the very beginning of season 13, he took a shine to Jack straight away, and I appreciated that because Jack didn't choose to be born. He didn't ask for Lucifer to invade Kelly Klein's privacy and the JJ the way that he did. Let's not talk about that too much because it makes me angry. But Jack himself did not ask for that to happen either. So Sam protecting him just felt right to me. And I understood where Dean was coming from because they didn't understand Jack, they didn't know what a Nephilim was capable of, etc. So to keep them on guard was just a safe precaution and a safe bet, and I agree with that. What I didn't agree with was how Dean was talking to Sam and Jack, because Jack overheard a lot as well, and it just reminded me of like a child of divorce that hears arguments that they shouldn't be hearing, that type of thing. And it's just horrible. I didn't like it, I didn't appreciate it. And I am a Dean girl, as you guys know. I love Dean, I love him so much. But I can't stand by him in those moments. I don't think that he handled it well. Again, having said that, I do know that he was going through a lot. And as soon as he opened up and said that Jack, every time he looked at Jack's face, he saw what he lost. And that was the line that I needed. It doesn't justify Dean's actions at all. I really strongly believe that. But it made me understand a little bit more of where he was coming from, at least. What I really didn't like was him sort of being quite pointed to Sam as well. And again, I feel like it was misplaced anger a lot of the time. I feel like Sam handled it really well though. He stood his ground, he stayed strong, and he was still there for Dean. He didn't turn his back on him or fall out with him in any way. He just stood his ground, which I appreciated. Plus, he decided to stick with Jack, and again, love that, because he believed it to be true. And again, I think that Sam's strength is just incredible, and I honestly don't think that Sam will ever really accept that within himself. He seems to be very doubtful, and I think a lot of the time others doubt him as well, which then grows that anxiety and self-doubt in him. Obviously, Dean wanting to protect him all the time as well. Love him for that. But still, from Sam's point of view, it can sometimes seem a little bit overbearing. It's like when you have a child and you try to stop them from seeing the evils of the world so much that you end up making them rebel. It's a sort of similar situation there with the brothers, I feel like. But at the end of it all, the love that they have for each other is unlike any other. So it's just, I just love it. I love the show. I love the fact that these characters are not perfect. They show their flaws, they embrace their flaws, and they always overcome the trials and tribulations of their lives as well. They keep fighting. So this season in particular stands out for me, not only because of Jack, but because of what we learned and with the boys' relationships as well. So one thing that does stand out was Billy's entrance. I've got chills just saying it out loud now, just thinking about it, because I think that Billy was a huge twist for me personally. I don't know if you guys just expected it to happen, but I really didn't. So when she was there, all suited and booted, wearing the ring, I was like, I am here for it. I just loved it so much, and I love the actress that plays Billy as well. She does an incredible job. And seeing the Library of Death, I just found it so powerful. I loved it so much. I really, really did. And especially Dean's whole scene there, him breaking down but trying to stay all firm and strong, and Billy just saying it how it is. Like, we need you, Dean. We need you in this life. As much as I want to be getting rid of you, trust me, because you make my job difficult, I want you around because you do good for this world. And they had books and books of when he was gonna die, or when he did die. Luckily that wasn't the day for him, thank the Lord. But yeah, loved that. Another amazing character to return is Rowena. You know I love me some Rowena. She is my queen, and I find her so, she's comedic, don't get me wrong. I love her comedy and that sort of aspect to her, and her very melodramatic personality. But what I truly like about her is her survival skills. She always seems to survive no matter what. Even when we think that she's burnt to a crisp on the ground, in she walks. And I just love it. She's a very strong witch with very large goals. And sometimes those goals get a little grey and a bit mixed up. I did enjoy her whole arc though, like her realising that she misses Crowley and wants him back, and her becoming this almighty mega coven witch that she's always dreamed of, and helping the boys. When they left Rowena in charge of Lucifer, I had my doubts straight away. It just seemed like a stupid move, but I guess they just needed to do what they needed to do in that time. But Rowena isn't the most reliable person. Luckily, she's a changed witch. But they didn't know that, and it did lead to Lucifer getting pushed through the portal, but she did stay and she did all she could to keep it open for when they came back through, which is amazing. Ketch was also another character to return, and it's one that I never thought I would appreciate. Like, I just didn't. I wasn't Ketch's #1 fan, but the way that he's handled things this season, I find him entertaining is probably the best word that I can use, because Even though he's trying really hard to make amends with the boys and to be friends, you can see that he's trying to be friends. Like, that's what he wants. He wants to escape his past life. But he's still got those personality traits. Like the way that he handled Gabriel, like just dragging him out of there even though he was fighting him. He was like, oh, just come on, we've got stuff to do. He's like very like determined. He just lacks empathy, which worries me. The whole lack of empathy always worries me in a person, and Ketch is definitely lacking that. But he's trying, you know? He's trying his hardest, and yeah, I appreciate it. Gabriel's return, I had mixed feelings about. I loved the fact that he did indeed fake his death that time that we saw against Lucifer. Loved that. I like the fact that he was sort of broken down and scared, and we saw that version of him. I wasn't a massive fan of Asmodeus's input, because I thought that Asmodeus was going to be this really powerful presence, and then it just turned into a bit of a pest more than an almighty powerful prince, you know? It was very anticlimactic, I want to say. I loved his voice, I loved his accent. Wasn't a fan of the suit, like Gabriel said as well. I felt that. It was the trainers more than anything. But anyway, I digress. His eyes glowed. I was seriously scared of him, and I thought, oh geez, like we're in for some trouble here. He could like shapeshift and change his voice and do all of these really powerful things. But then all it took was Gabriel to get a bit of grace in him, and boom, he was just dead. And the fight wasn't much of a fight at the end. Maybe there was just time restraints on it, I don't really know. I was glad that Asmodeus was put to an end, but I didn't expect it to be so quick and so sudden, especially with all the annoyances that he put in place, like with Donatello and just everything really. Gabriel as well. But I am glad that Gabriel was the one that ended him. I will say that, because the torture that he went through, ugh, not the one. When it comes to this other world that they introduced, it was such a large opportunity to bring past characters back. The only one I'm really disappointed we didn't get to see, or I'll change that, I'll put the main one that I'm disappointed we didn't get to see, was Benny. And that might surprise a few of you, because I'm sure many would think, what about John? But for me, it was Benny. Because I'd imagine Benny as one of these like changed vampires, like these starved vampires that were a bit different, and seeing Dean react to that. Because Dean had this connection with Benny, and I just miss it. And it would have been heartbreaking, don't get me wrong, but such a lovely scene to witness, because I know that Jensen would have played the heck out of that. But that's just being very nitpicky and a bit of a headcanon. I just would have liked to have seen that like take place. Seeing Charlie again was great as well, and Bobby was just, well, you guys know I am Bobby's #1 fan, so whenever I see Genevieve's face, I'm all happy about it. And he's still in our world as well. It does worry me a little bit that they're gonna brutally murder him and I have to live for it twice. But I better just count my blessings that we're even getting to see him, you know? And I do love the scenes between him and Mary. They're very chill, but they're very deep. Like the conversations that they have are very thought-provoking. That's one thing I want to touch upon as well with the whole Mary thing. When she found out the whole Yellow Eyes thing and the world ended up being the way that it is because the boys weren't created, I just found that so powerful, because everyone has those what if moments, like what if this, what if that. She kind of found out that. So even if she feels like her decision to make that deal was terrible and such the wrong decision, and people have hammered her about it, especially like coming back as well, and then to realise, well, it's better than what happened here, which it is. So yeah, I just found it interesting. Michael, I loved Michael's new host in this alternative universe. I think he played the character really well. The whole Dean saying I'm your sword and I take the wheel, that's our only deal. It was just so stupid in the fact that if he thought that would ever be what would happen. It's Michael, for Christ's sake. Like, he's not gonna do it. He just won't do it. And surprise, he didn't do it. He didn't listen. So It was a dumb decision, but I honestly feel like if Michael didn't agree to that anyway, Dean still would have done it because it's Sam, innit? He's going to do anything for Sam. And that is the bottom line and will forever be the bottom line. He will do anything to protect Sam. And yeah, he did. Let's talk about the scene where Lucifer and Michael as in Dean, fought. What were you thinking, Supernatural? In that moment, creators, who said, yeah, that's cracking that. Let's take that to air. Which one did that? You need to take a long walk and have a word with yourself. Because as soon as I saw that, my instant thought was, who's allowed this to happen? And it's Supernatural. Like, you guys do this type of thing well. Like, really well. What happened there? I can't get my head around it. Like, it was so clearly wire work that it was painful to watch. But you know, it's just a small scene, so we won't dwell on it too much. I just hope that they'll never do that again. Surely they've learned from the mistake of that. Let's hope anyway. I would have much preferred they just have an on-ground fight if that looked so bad. Like, they would have been editing it, and if it was me, I'd have gone, this ain't working, this does not look good. Right, we'll call them in and we'll reshoot and everything can be on the ground. It would have been a bit of money, don't get me wrong, would have been worth it, because I feel like that's going to be something that people are going to laugh at for quite a while. And again, Supernatural usually nail it, so it just caught everyone off guard, I'm sure. Let's talk about the outfit that Jensen was wearing at the end. Michael was wearing at the end. It was so hot. Like, he just looked absolute perfection in that moment. Like, that outfit, the Peaky Blinders Michael, I'm for it. I am for it, and I hope that that outfit sticks all the way through season 14. Let's get into predictions, shall we? I'm kind of hoping Dean Michael is going to last a more significant amount of time than what Demon Dean did. I do like to see Jensen play other versions of characters, especially the bad ones. I always say it, but they're more fun to watch, you know? And Dean is always so good. He's aggressive and angry, but I'd like to see a more, like, cunning and playful evil side, you know? So I'm hoping that that lasts a little bit longer. And I'm hoping that we get a lot of scenes between Sam, Cass, and Jack. That is my goal. That is my wish. Please and thank you. With a sprinkling of Rowena sass would be mwah, perfection in my book. I want to see them try and work out how to get Dean back with us and to banish Michael. And I've got a sneaky feeling, sneaky suspicion, that Rowena is going to play a part in that, which I'm all for. Because I truly think that she's going to end up following in Crowley's footsteps and becoming that evil entity that ends up falling in love with the boys. I want to also touch upon Crowley because I thought he'd be back. It might make me an idiot to think that, but I just thought he'd be back. And when he didn't, I was beyond disappointed. I think that Mark Sheppard is an absolute gem and great addition to this show. And he was an OG, really. He's been there for so long. When he's not around, like, you miss his presence. I want him back on that throne. I want him here. And I didn't really like the way that he went out. I think that it was nice he made a big announcement to the boys and, like, did it to save them. But our Crowley wouldn't have just done that. Like, it felt as though Crowley gave up in a way and was just like, I'm doing this for you, but really, he just wanted an end to it. That's the vibe I got from watching it. And it was just sad. I've later found out that there was a little bit more complicated thing going on behind the scenes, maybe. But as a viewer, just going off my love for the character, I think they made a mistake. Lucifer. I'm glad, at least I hope, that that was the end of him. And if so, I'm glad about it. I do like the way that Mark P plays Lucifer. He does an incredible job. Like, his humor and his, like, little quirks and the way that he plays and toys with the character, like, other people. It's just so much fun to watch. Having said that, this whole, like, grey cloud that just constantly lingers over the boys, disappears for a bit, but then it comes back with a vengeance and then disappears for it. It was just getting a bit old. So I'm kind of glad that well, hopefully that will be it now, question mark. It looked as though that would be the final thing. He looked very much gone. But I thought Gabriel was gone way back when, so I don't know much, you know? So Gabriel's death as well, while we're on about angels dying. I felt like that was a bit stupid. Because, I mean, if he's pulled another trick, I'm happy. I understand it, and I'm all for it. But if not, what a stupid thing to do. Because he knew he wasn't in full power. He knew that. So being all like heroic and being like, you go guys, I've got this. It's just stupid. They could have all just gone through the portal and left him there. It didn't need to be done. And if that is the way he's gone, again, I'd be disappointed. If it was like they handled it differently, like maybe the boys went through and then suddenly the portal closed and Gabriel was like, crap. And then he died. I'd be like, I understand. But he chose to do that. This, oh yes, I'll save them. With what power, Gabriel? You know that Lucifer just sucked dry a bunch of angels in the New World. You haven't done that. Let's talk about this whole like grace thing as well. Because Lucifer managed to pull the grace from so many people against their will a lot of the times. But he did it. He got his grace and he got more powerful. Why are people not bottling this grace up? Because a lot of these times when they're smiting these angels, why would they not capture them, slice the neck, take the grace, and then smite them? It just makes more sense, guys. I'm just saying. Let's go back to Mary a sec, because Mary got a lot of shit in season 12. I did try my very hardest to stand by her, and I still do, because I appreciate her and understand that what she's going through is just stupidly difficult. I was annoyed though when she said, I'm staying here, like cheers for coming, but these people need me. Because it just felt not like her, because she was so quick to go before, unless she was learning from that mistake. But then if she was learning from that mistake of leaving the boys in season 12, then she would have worded the whole I'm leaving very differently. And I know I just said this in my breakdown, but I feel strongly about it. Why not say to the boys, thank you so much for saving me. Will you help me and come with me? And if not, I totally get it. I'm gonna do it and I shall see you soon though. I just didn't like, well, I'm gonna stay. And I think it's the way it was written that I didn't appreciate. But I love seeing her with Bobby now. And I'm hoping that in season 14, we get some motherly scenes. I want them and I need them. Because if we went through Mary's like a dream sequence, like heaven sequence type of thing, she was so motherly to her boys. She cares deep, and when it's about children and family, she cares deeply about it. Why can't we see that with her and our boys? Give me those scenes, writers. I need them in my life. I want her to hug her boys. We have got a lot of hugs, but I feel like they're always clouded with shit. Like she'll hug them or whatever, but then something really bad will happen, or they'll talk about something really bad straight after it, and I'm just like, oh, why? At the end of season 12, I was sailing down that river of denial, as you know. Everyone's fine, everyone's fine. And it turns out I was kind of right, apart from Crowler. But at the very beginning of season 13, when they did like the burial and the burning of the Castiel's remains, I was heartbroken. But there was still something in my mind telling me Castiel has exploded into pink dust before and then been brought back. Surely they can do this again. And they did. I didn't expect it to be the way that it was with the whole empty situation. As you know, I wasn't a fan of that. I just didn't like the idea of it. And I get that being in the empty is hard to portray because, I mean, it's empty. There's nothing there. And that's the whole point of it. But I just felt like they could have done something a little bit bigger, like with the whole Death's Library type of thing. Like that felt strong and I was there for it. Whereas the empty, I was just a bit like, huh? The whole time. But the main thing was that we got Castiel back, and yes, my heart is now full again. We have our baby angel with us, and it's just amazing. And I got the scene which I wanted with Jack and Castiel's reunion, and Dean, Sam's, Castiel's reunion as well. And I just love them. I love them, I love them, I love them. So yeah, I'm very happy that we have our number one angel back. This season has felt very like, we get wins and then we get taken away. We get wins and then we get taken away. So another one was losing Jack trying to save Mary. That was another shocker. And he was gone for quite a while as well. But it was nice that Jack and Mary had some time. They grew to know each other, and Mary was very protective over him, which I loved as well. And Jack, same as. And we also got to see Jack's powers and him learning and trying to grow, and it was just beautiful. I just loved it, and I do feel like he still has a very long way to go, but let's hope that he is on the right track now that his dad is completely out of the picture. There were a few moments where I thought, oh, this could get messy, because if he ends up going back to Lucifer and Lucifer gets in his head and changes him, then the boys are going to have like the negative effect of that, because they're going to rain havoc on the world. But luckily that didn't happen, because Jack is beautiful. And that scene where Sam grabs the blade at the very end and passes it to Jack and like, you do it because I am never going to hurt you type of thing. And then Jack turns it on himself. It was just so much to handle, and it's beautiful, and I loved it. And yeah, I cannot wait for season 14, guys. I cannot wait. If you've enjoyed this journey with me so far, please give this video a cheeky thumbs up and let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments, and I'd love to read them. Thank you all for taking the time to watch my content. I honestly can't thank you enough. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it blows my mind the support that you guys give, and I'm extremely grateful for you. Please remember, I have Twitch where I stream every Friday and Saturday, and on the Saturday I typically end up going through all of your comments on YouTube and Patreon, and I sometimes react to fan edits and other interviews and behind the scenes footage over there. So if that interests you whatsoever, please click that link in my description. Follow me over on Twitch. We have a good time there. I promise you a good time. I promise you a good time. I also have a Patreon, guys, where I have exclusive and extended footage over there, and I honestly think you'll like it. So feel free to join, become a part of the Patreon family. Have a big old binge of my content. I'm sure you'd love it. Link down below in the description. I only have 2 seasons left of this show. 2. It makes me want to well up thinking about it. I am so unbelievably connected with this show and to the fan base as well. I love being a part of the fandom. And since I started this, like many moons ago now, I think I've been doing this for, was it 4 years? I've got to know a good chunk of you guys as well. And it's just been so much fun. It's been so much fun. And the thought of it ending, it just makes me sad. But I will tell you that even when I finish season 15 of Supernatural and the very last episode has been watched, I will be continuing reacting to fan edits, convention footage, anything behind the scenes. So please don't think that the Supernatural love is going to stop. It definitely will not. I will continue to enjoy the Supernatural fan base, and I will be introducing new shows as well, so you won't get bored. I'm thinking about trying Buffy out, guys. If that interests you whatsoever, please let me know in the comments below. As well as other shows, but I do think that Buffy is such a huge show to dive into, and I know it's like on a similar level to Supernatural with like the whole sci-fi thing, and it's got many seasons in it as well, and then there's Angel after that, so it could go on and on. So if that interests you, I pray that you stick around, guys. You won't be disappointed. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you for the next one. Here comes season 14. Bye, guys.